Welcome everyone, today I'm here to bring you some gameplay video I guess. So here's the thing, most of you know that my Forza Motorsport 7 doesn't really want to work properly. For a long time I couldn't even get into a race because the game itself would crash if I even wanted to open a benchmark in the game. So like it would start the game, get to the main menu, select the benchmark or select the race, let it be online, single player, whatever you want to set up, and the game would just crash for me. Now after a few months I guess, the game actually works okay for the time being, so I thought I'm just gonna try my luck. This is the stupidest idea that I ever did, I think, when it comes to racing with off-wheel. Because I went into a multiplayer session in a game that I don't play and tried my luck with various different cars and different settings. Now the race that you see now is the first race that I joined in. The race was in progress, so I just decided to spectate and see what the average force of the lobby looks like these days. So this is an endurance lobby, 15 laps, one mandatory pit stop, and the guy I spectated was the last one in the race. Getting into the last lap, everyone else beside these three guys started to pit, which is something you would never want, and then the Lamborghini overtook the Corvette, and the Corvette did not like that. Fast forward a bit, that was the last move of the entire race, and the guy from last finished in first. Yeah, I think that clip speaks for itself. I already submitted to JSR Devon's Idiots of the Week. I hope it will get into the series because I think it just perfectly sums up the thing. But I could also just include this entire video because the idea of this video is awful as well. So like for the first race after that, I wanted to switch to manual gearbox, but I accidentally went one ahead and I ended up on automatic. Now I tested the camera angle in other cars before jumping into the multiplayer. I wasn't that stupid, but what I didn't know is that only a few cars have normal interior camera angles. So for example, this Audi here has a terrible, awful looking interior camera. And here we go. Someone is at the bowling alley and likes to play with cars. So I immediately switched to the hood camera and try my luck. Like I said, this is something that I never ever did before. I'm using a G920 for those who don't know, and after a long time this is the first time I play this game with the wheel. I tried my luck with other cars in this game. Oh, by the way, here goes another bowling player. That's gonna be a fold or loser. I don't know how it's called in bowling. It's been a while since I've been to a bowling alley. So I don't have much experience with this game in general, and I have less with a wheel, so I don't know why it was a good idea for me to actually try my luck with this. Anyway, one thing that I already noticed with some of the cars is that the braking is a bit off with this game. In general, if I press it to half down, it already locks up and stuff like that. So within one lap, if you fail a few times, like I did in this lap, you can already mess up your entire race, and that's what actually happened. There's no reason for me to include any more of the race. And one funny thing is that I actually finished 12 out of 20 because half of the grid left. And one other thing is, like, this lobby had damage turned on. For the next race, the guy ahead of me does not start in the grid, and because I hit him, I did not expect him to just stay there, I received damage. My car is already damaged, the race is 12 laps long, and guess what happens in the next corner? Yep, that happens. the car just spins around when I want to get back on track, and I just basically gave up. I tried to join a different kind of lobby to see what can I join in, but after minutes of waiting for the server to answer to me, I receive a message saying that, oh, there's no lobby in for that kind of thing. So I want to jump back into the endurance type, and there's basically no other lobby than the one that I was in, and I don't want to join back to that. So I go to this different kind of race flaggation hopper, if that's the name for it. I've heard about this before, and in paper this should be a fairly balanced lobby. Like, everyone can receive penalties affect lap times, overall time of the race that you spent in it, and it should be fair. I bump into someone in the first corner, nobody spins out, nobody crashes, nothing happens, but I receive penalty. The guy ahead of us re-enters the track in not a great way. I bump into him and I get no penalty for that. I'm not sure if he got some or not, but it just feels a bit weird for me right from the start. So, one thing that I want to mention is that between the previous race and this race, I actually managed to go back to manual shifting. What I did not remember is the fact that I removed the HUD, like one part of the HUD, which is the speedometer. Now guess what will you need if you want to shift manually? Yeah, a speedometer. Even the Mr. Tokyo Trip guy ahead of me knows that, I guess. So yeah, I spinned out in this race, and it was a horrible 2 minutes of wasted time of me trying to get back on track. But no worries, because Mr. Tokyo Drift feels sorry for me, so he gives me a position. So yeah, so far we tried out cars with high horsepower, high power performance points, or whatever it's got. So I was very hyped about a low class race until I saw what kind of camera angle I get for the hood cam. Seriously, this felt very odd. I tried to find a good HUD, like not had the camera angle for this race, like for this car, because this felt very awkward. Like, the camera faces downwards and you have to look up. It felt very weird, because you're not focusing on the center of the screen when you look at this. You're focusing above the center of the screen, and that threw me off a lot. But I decided, you know what, let's just see what I can do. There's no excuse here. It's a lower class race. It's something that I could be better at it, because in general I feel like that I'm not really good with high speed cars or anything like that. And it felt good, actually. It felt decent. If good might be a bit strong of a word. It felt decent until I realized that the warning signs that pop up from time to time would actually block the entire view, like the entire area that I would have to focus on. Like, just watch this, watch the first corner, caution ahead. Yes, thanks, but I cannot see the road ahead, because the caution sign blocks the entire thing that I'm looking at. Here's a guy, spins out, creates a smoke, caution ahead. I cannot see the road that I'm supposed to look at. I can only guess where I'm supposed to go, so I thought the guy might spin out to the inside, and then I crash into him on the outside. So like, fuck, what am I going to do now? Alright, let's try to make some pace. Let's try to get on time, get on race time, or like get to speed. Let's try to catch up to this guy and maybe gain a position. This is the last lap, maybe I can do something. And no. First, I don't know how or why, but I just could not get anything done here. I give you this. I managed to actually finish a race and not run out of the time, which is somewhat of a progression, I feel. And I guess because I ran into the guy, he dropped a position in the actual race. So I feel 50-50 about this whole race regulation penalty system so far. So the next race is the Buick. I was hyped about this. A muscle car. I'm gonna turn it onto manual with clutch. I'm gonna use my 8 shifter. Let's have this. 3, 2, 1, let's go! And what I did not notice is that we actually have a very early left-hand turn here, and everyone else, also including me, so like almost everyone messes up that corner. What I did not expect actually, so like you look at this, you see the camera is somewhat okay for the interior, the brake feels weird, the steering is awful, but what you don't not, but the thing that you do not see is that there is a delay with the shifting. So like here's the thing, I press down the clutch, I shift from second to third, or like from third to fourth, and then the game, once I shifted to third, then the game puts the car in neutral, waits about 1 second, and then puts it into the next gear. That was awful. It made the race unenjoyable for me, so I really don't want to show anything about it other than that. So the next race was with this Dodge Charger. I couldn't even care with the 8 shifter or manual shifting with clutch, so I just put it on manual, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna practice with left leg braking, and just let's try to survive the first lap or the first corner or anything. Let's just survive this race. And I'm surprised that I actually survived somewhat of the first race. Like, there were so many situations where the car could just spin out and stuff like that, but later down the race, the car truly showed its true form. It was totally awful to drive this thing, and here's my review of the car. Turn, you bitch! So the next race, and this is the last one that I will actually show, because this car, I actually felt like that I actually enjoyed it. So let's see what this brings to the table. Again, a really long loading screen, or time to wait for the race rather. I'm using normal manual shifting with the shifter pedals, and let's just pray that this will be anything different. I cycle through the cameras to see if there's anything good, and actually the dashboard camera looks okay. So what can we expect here? I expect the car to act weird on braking, maybe a bit weird steering, and totally awful race. What I actually get is the car braking somewhat good, but I cannot really use that to my advantage here and there. Like, the tires are obviously blocking up when I go even further than 50%. And what actually surprises me that the car actually handles okay. So this is like the first time where I feel that I could actually enjoy this car in this multiplayer race. The race itself isn't short. Like most of the races before this were like 2 or 4 laps. But what actually surprises me is that I get 1.25 seconds penalty because I was on the outside, I braked a bit early, the guy behind me crashed into me, and the game thinks that I brake checked someone. That is not cool. That is... It was the final nail in the coffin for me. And a lot of people mention, oh, you shouldn't be angry, you shouldn't rage quit and stuff like that. Especially in these days, I've already seen people making videos about that. But there are these moments when you're just someone riding along the experience. Like, I know that I'm the one who put myself into this situation where I haven't played this game in a while and I have very minimal experience with the wheel. But also I wanted to see what can this game offer. Forza Motorsport 7 is the game that I feel like that I cannot actually properly form an opinion about. Like, if you ask me about Forza Horizon 4 or Forza Horizon 3, I would tell you anytime that Horizon 4 feels like Horizon 3 with some features stripped down and overall looks a bit prettier, but there are a lot of problems with economic system, car balancing system, and just how people overall look at it. And the fact that the LEGO DLC exists kinda feeds into the previous point. But when it comes to Forza Motorsport 7, it's a game that if I sit down to it just casually, I can see myself enjoying a bit here and there. But once I actually want to tell you what I enjoy about it and what I do not enjoy about it, I'm struggling. I do not know what I actually like about this game because, for example, most common YouTube video about any of the Forza games or any racing games in general is the sound of the car. And for this game, the sound for... Oh yeah, I accidentally opened up the phone screen. Like, for example, in this game, most of the cars sound okay, but there are these instances when the sound just cuts off for shifting, or they just feel very awkward and things like that. And there aren't even that many generic car sounds like in Horizon 4 that would be explainable. Like, oh yeah, if you do not like the car sounds, you can point it out that they just reuse this sound for this. But I do not feel that about this game. The car models look good, and I do not like the menu of the game, but that's just the most nitpicky thing that you could mention about a game. I do not mind how the penalty system works in total, because yeah, from time to time I did manage to go over the line when I thought that I was still in a good range. But there are times when it doesn't work at all, and those times people have pointed out, make points about it. So it's a mixed bag. When I look at the checks, it's again, I feel like that there could be more checks in this game, but the variety that's already there, it's not bad. There are actually multiple versions of the checks, and with different what is it? And you can race it at night and what is it, daytime. So there's at least a minimum amount of variety, which if you just hop in and hop out from time to time, it can be okay, but I guess this is the perfect example of a mediocre game, I guess, because I can name good things about it, I can name bad things about it, but at the same time I cannot really recommend it or not recommend it, because at the end of the day this was a horrific experience for me, but I still stayed for more, and I wanted to see what can actually happen, if I can do anything good, if I can just fail miserably. But I did spend about 1.5 hours, I think, in this game, trying out different cars, seeing how bad I was, comparing myself to other people, and in general I actually do not regret it. This was something that I didn't expect from this experience. From this experience, I originally thought that either I will be godlike, which is highly unlikely, or I will be just horrific. I will be just awful. I will not be able to do anything in this session, and I will just delete the game altogether. Still, I feel that Forza Motorsport 6 is better than Forza Motorsport 7, but I do not regret that this game actually works again for me. So if I can say anything, then I will say that I will probably find a way to make content out of this game. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to let me know. If you guys did not enjoy it, also let me know. Let me know, guys, if you would like to see more stuff like this, where I just try myself in a normal like environment, like videos like this, where I just do a recap of a session or something like that, or if I should just stop altogether. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to let me know. If you did not enjoy it, also let me know. Have a good day or night. I'll be seeing you around.